Memory of Night Eternal, written by Grady Shimmeries and read to you by someone who forgot to do this until the very last minute. The dark figure stood at the end of the school hallway, a crooked smile on his face, as he stared at the two young boys, still wearing their backpacks. It was a mere 5 minutes since the bell rang to signify that school was over, but it seemed so long ago. They were trapped, nowhere to run, as he slowly approached them, a smile growing larger and larger. The nearer door was too far away to run to, and the staircase was even further still. There was no escape. All the boys could do was watch in horror as the black silhouette got closer and closer, red eyes gleaming with malice. All they had wanted was to go home after a long day at school. That was all they wanted, and now their fate was sealed. By the time the power had gone out and the screams began echoing through the halls, they were already doomed. The man in a black clothing had appeared at the front door only a little earlier and entered like any normal visitor of a school, which might be slightly bizarre. That wasn't in the script, by the way. As he walked around, however, people began disappearing, classrooms at a time. Gunshots could be heard, but no bodies could be found. Darkness wreathed the building as the power went off, and all the while, the man's cackling filled the air. That was before. Now only 2 survivors left. The man walked towards the boys, now mere feet away from them, close enough that they could smell the stench of death emanating from him. The figure suddenly stopped, the brim of his hat pulled low over his eyes, and his insane grin now wider than ever. He reached down to his belt and pulled out a pistol. The boys flattened themselves against the wall as the gun went off, holding each other's hands, and closed their eyes as tightly as they could, not even managing to scream. When they opened their eyes, however, they were still alive. The dark figure was gone, and the hallway was empty. They both looked at each other in shock and confusion, wondering if they'd imagined it all. But as they turned to walk away, they heard a creaking sound coming from behind them. Slowly, they turned around to see the door at the end of the hallway slowly opening. It was as if an invisible force was pulling it open, and the boys could feel their hearts pounding in their chests. With no other option, they cautiously approached the door, peering inside. What they saw made their blood run cold. The room was filled with dark, shadowy figures, all staring at them with lifeless eyes. The door vanished behind them. They were surrounded, and the boys knew they had to find a way out before it was too late. Their terrified screams their schoolmates engulfed them. Wait a second, were those figures the schoolmates? Huh, I did not know that. I've never read this story before right now, so this is all as new to me as it is to you guys. Anyways, seeming to come from the shadowy figures around them, the 2 boys ran, looking for an escape, a change, anything, but no matter which direction they turned, the figures seemed to be closing in on them, their whispers growing louder and more menacing with each passing second. The room seemed to stretch on for infinity. As they ran, nothing changed. The shadows only grew on the walls that seemed unreachable, despite being only 10 feet away. They were trapped in a place from which they would never escape. As the darkness consumed them, they both knew they could never make it out alive. Their horror had taken hold, and they were now nothing more than mere pawns in the twisted game of the shadowy form. He stood above them, his malevolent smile wider than ever as he watched the boys disappear into the darkness. For him, the game had only just begun. Yeesh! Holy crap, that was dark. I mean, jeez, that just... Bam! I did not expect that to be so dark. Again, I have never read this, although the title is Memory of Night Eternal, and then in brackets, a cliche horror story. So I probably should have expected this, and yet I really didn't. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and mostly just listening, because let's face it, there wasn't that much to watch. But thank you guys, and I will see you again soon.